Welcome one and all. I'm Dan Carey and this is Hard Hat Chat, powered by Core 4. Grab your PPE, it's about to get serious. This episode is our pilot, so you're talking to me and Curtis.
So Kurt, I was thinking, right, that we should do a little bit of a background on not only us, no, I do mean us actually, like how we came to be.
Okay.
And then the things that you've said all the way through it's still in its infancy, our relationship, yeah? We've known each other a couple of years.
Yeah.
What a magical couple of years that's been, Kurt.
Truly.
How do you find it?
Truly insightful.
You're welcome.
Magical.
Yeah, you're welcome for all of it.
Yeah. I mean, should we give a background to us individually first?
I mean, that sounds boring, but
Well,
yeah, do that.
So if I start then, mine will be very basic. Having never worked in construction, although been around it through like family business for a long time,
Naivety.
straight out of school into financial services. Then ended up leaving there, setting up a cleaning company, doing that for a few years. And then, as fortunes would have it, we ended up being introduced 2 years ago, and that's how I ended up here. But you obviously have a wealth of knowledge and experience within construction.
I wouldn't say that, Kurt. I wouldn't say that. But
I think
I
you
do
have said
have.
that.
Yeah. I literally say that every day. I know everything, and no one can challenge me. But it's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're doing it. What did you say to me 2 years ago? You got about a week in and you was like doing boring stuff, like looking at figures and all them sort of things that I'd never done before. Because I was like, I just want to have a really cool business. I just want to have loads of machines and I just want to do some really cool work. That was basically my business plan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then I got you in and then you started. What did you start saying?
That's a terrible idea. What are you playing at?
You did say some of that about some things.
I think, there's been so many things, but ultimately for it to work, you need a lot of Dans. I just couldn't believe how much you got done and how many things you were thinking about at once. But it all come back to wanting to just have a nice place for people to work and enjoy coming to work.
Yeah, I think that's also my ADHD that you just described.
Well,
there.
yeah, quite possibly.
So, I mean, we've got
yeah, that's the backdrop
I'm
all of this.
Today, I'm not buzzing that much, to be honest. I'm not having a real buzzy day today. But I've still done a lot of things. Like, before I come here, so my days are always, they never go how I plan them to go. And I think that's probably your frustration.
Yeah, although...
Because you're like, let's plan it. Let's have a proper meeting. I'm like, no, we'll have a meeting when I've got no phone signal, when I'm driving through the back roads of Essex.
That's frustrating. That is, and that's happened today.
Yeah. And then I'm like, I'll just go and agree stuff and then we make it work later. I mean, how's that gone for you today so far? So I've just been agreeing stuff on the phone today. About one of them days.
To be fair, today's not too bad.
Okay. Because just before I done this, I was fitting a door. And I don't fit doors.
Not anymore.
I was just thinking to myself, what am I doing? I'm fitting a door. I'd just come from a site meeting. I'm soaking wet. I thought, yeah, I better fit this door quick. But I woke up this morning. I should not have been fitting that door today. Anyway, I sort of digress with my...
Well, no, but that's sort of... The whole thing is...
That's me, isn't it?
That's
basically what you're saying.
And that's solution-based and solution-driven, which is what we try to be. And it's part of that, isn't it, really? And that's sort of how this has been born, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I suppose a media, an outlet for people to... People buy for people, didn't they? And we always, like, when we're in front of people, we're in a competitive market, and we're trying to work for main contractors. Or we do work for main contractors. And they ultimately buy off of people that they like. I like to think they like us, but we have to get in front of them. So we do some cool things, don't we? We've done some cool things. And then you very early on said, are you sure you're like a contracting company, like a subcontractor? Are you not more of a, like, I won't put words in your mouth. What did you say we are?
principal contractor sort of vibes, but ultimately a media company.
Yeah, because we
or marketing company.
we was awesome at marketing straight off the bat. weren't we?
Yeah, and I think that led us to sort of punch above our weight or seemingly
Where do you think that come from?
just being a bit different. Firstly,
Yeah, I mean, people are afraid to like send cookies out with their cartoon face
Yeah.
on, aren't they?
Yeah.
And we've just gone, yeah, do it actively. Like we'd have the suppliers ask us if it's something we actually want to do, and then you know that you've got a little bit of a crazy idea there, didn't you?
yeah, there's that. I think guitar picks with your face on.
Yeah. Basically, we put my face on everything, didn't we?
Yeah, your face on cookies.
Yeah.
Did we do dart flights?
I think we did dart flights. We are like we're good at, and that's what got people talking. I had a meeting. The meeting that I walked in this morning, and I met this guy, and I've met him before. Nondescript, like site manager. Can I say that?
As long as you don't name him,
no,
yeah.
I'm not named. And he's like, yeah, all right, I'll met you down and name this other job. I just don't remember this guy,
Yeah.
but he remembers me, and he actually remembers us because we walked into an office with them cookies.
Oh, right.
It was the first thing that he said to me, and I'm thinking this guy's a brand new guy. So it is.
Yeah.
It is funny. It is funny the things that people talk about, and I think we've always said that like better than sort of SEO is better than like actually paying for Facebook ads and things like that. We will just do something a little bit out there. I mean, what's one of the first things that me and you done that was a bit out there?
You thinking Shark Boat?
Okay, yeah, I'm thinking Shark Boat. That was a good one.
Yeah. That was so. We were asked to help launch the start of UK Construction Week, wasn't it?
Yes.
And we had to build a boat out of waste materials. So it was an opportunity to get rid of a load of rubbish around the yard as well. So
yeah, and then we decided to make a really lightweight boat, and we barely used anything.
Yeah, but it worked. We stayed dry, didn't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was good. And then obviously
that was February on the Thames. Don't undersell it. That was like a very cold day. We took no change of clothes, and basically,
that's true.
If we'd fallen in, we was in trouble.
It would have been a short day.
yeah. We would have been straight back home.
But
it turned out it was a super long day, and I learned something else about you that day as well because we drove in because we had to because we had this boat that was like 16 foot long on the back of a half back, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I picked you up in the morning. I realised that you can't actually talk to you before at least 7:30 in the morning because you are like the grumpiest teenager.
Yeah, I've never grown out of that. I was waiting to about sort of 21. I thought I might start liking mornings, but no.
I'm with you though. Mornings are. I need a while to wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
And warm up. And I think that's what gives me the ump when my phone rings and people are checking on me in the morning when we've previously agreed something beforehand to do with work and my phone's ringing. I'm like,
there's no need for it.
How have you forgotten about this already? It's 7:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
And we discussed it the day before and we do all the things. Because I guess like part of this is what we want to portray is that it's not all roses.
No.
For us, for everyone, for like what you see on like when your wife goes, on Instagram, this sort of thing happened, and they was having a lovely family day out, and there was no mud, and and like my life is just like muddy. Everyone's dirty all the time.
Yeah.
We're sliding down the hill, we're falling over, breaking things. That is real life.
Yeah.
And I think media it don't really portray that anymore, does it?
No.
There's this perfect world. And then I felt like, I guess from my side of it, I don't know, who come up with this idea, you or me? I'm going to say you.
I love podcasts.
Yeah. I'm going to say you because I'd never listened to a podcast, had I?
No.
And I was like, what is this sorcery? Then I got into a few.
Yeah.
Then I got on someone else's, didn't I?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Then I was like, oh, yes, it's quite, this is all right. I done one, then I was like professional, wasn't I? I was like
telling everyone else.
yeah. I'm absolutely professional at this. But I guess if this is an outlet where we can just maybe inspire the next generation, whether it be tradesman or that person wants to work in construction and get like an office job, I'm not frowning upon that. That is not how I'm wired.
Hmm.
I can't sit behind a computer. Look, we're sitting in my office right now. So basically, we use this as a studio now, don't we? But I think it's okay to do whatever you want to do. And not all parts of society portray that. And it's just all right to like, if we're just a bit of an outlet where we can just talk about things, the good, the bad, and the ugly, rather than just the good all the time. Because there's a lot of great stuff that goes on in our industry, but there's a lot of bad stuff as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one really talks about the bad stuff. No one talks about the money, the problems, all of that. And why not? Why do you think they don't?
Oh man, that's a big question. I think because there's a lot of bad news just generally, isn't there? So I think people maybe shy away from it. But I think the fact is, like, if we're thinking certain things about construction, we've got certain things going in our day that you couldn't make up. Like, it's just ridiculous sometimes. Other people must have that as well. I think maybe not deal with it in the same way as we do, but like,
how do we deal with it?
Oh,
How do we deal with it differently? Because we have some things that are like proper showstoppers, and then we never let the show stop.
I think you can't get too far ahead of yourself. Obviously, you've got an ultimate plan or purpose, but you sort of got to also take each day as it comes, or just treat, right, this is just another week. Let's get through this week. That sort of mindset helps, doesn't it? I think. It helps me.
Yeah, it might help you. Yeah, it doesn't help me.
No,
that like fries my head. It is just I mean, what you're alluding to there is obviously we're in the area of we're subcontracting, we are contracting off of these guys, these P1s that are basically these tier ones that are basically they're setting the rules, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're setting the rules, they're laying it out, they're telling us what we can do health and safety wise, they're telling us what we're going to get paid, when we're going to get paid it. They can stop the show in an instant, can't they?
Yeah.
The contracts are ridiculously biased and unfair, aren't they? And then I guess like we stand up to that, don't we? We'll have that roll around with them. We'll cross things out of contracts.
Yeah.
We won't sign on things. We'll have the argument. We'll take things to adjudication, won't we? And we'll win.
Yeah.
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 Because we're always right, aren't we? As in, like, we will just do what is morally right. We never try and do the thing that maybe other people do. Which is
we're not
lie a bit and cheat a bit and duck and dive. And I guess like in construction's full of it.
There's a lot of that. That's been an eye opening.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful game, isn't it? What was the thing you said to me about 2 or 3 weeks in, and you was like, "Oh, all these people." I think you was like chasing payments or something.
Yeah.
And you was like, "Oh, all these people told me this money would be in on these dates."
Yeah.
So then you had backed up a load of payments, so you had processed sort of our end of what was going out.
Yeah.
And I said to you, "Kurt, that won't happen." You was like, "No, but they told me."
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, but they lie.
It's a bit green.
I was like, they lie. And you was like, you couldn't get your head around that they were going to lie. They would lie to you about something like that. And you was like, well, how could they lie to me about something like that?
Yeah.
Because it was trivial, but it all sort of added up. And then you've realised that the whole industry is like that.
Yeah.
Everyone just lies to
everyone. Yeah.
But
100%.
We don't.
With a few exceptions.
And you don't.
Yeah.
And that's why we've ended up, say, over the last 18 months to a year, getting like a better supply chain wrapped around us.
Yeah.
Because we've got people that we can really rely on to deliver, haven't we, now?
Yeah, I think it is that. You're probably right with the honesty being such a sort of a foreign concept in a lot of areas of construction.
That's a good way of putting it. Is that a fact? Because obviously on these pods, we're going to have a lot of your facts.
We are. It's probably more of an opinion still.
Okay. I think they almost teach at a university that you've got to like lie a bit.
Oh, yeah, I reckon. Like, it's almost...
And then it's like industry. Have you seen that guy on like TikTok and Instagram, and he does like, if construction bosses or something, if your construction boss was, we need to get him on actually. He's very good.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, like, if your construction boss was telling the truth, and he would say things like, no, there's things that I can't say actually. I've realised I can't say the things that he's going to say. But it's right the way through the industry, and I just don't know why people just don't. And it all boils down to money.
Yeah.
ultimately.
And I think
They're all
people,
trying to.
it does. And also, I think you get sometimes people wanting to try and save face, whereas we've had to have some difficult conversations sometimes with people.
Yeah.
And they're not very fun, but I think that puts us in a better place.
But you think of the
Then going forward after.
Yeah, oh yeah. But we've sorted people out, haven't we? Like we thought we had great supply chain.
Yeah.
And we thought we had great relationships. And relationships that were probably born on my personal relationships with people.
Yeah, generally, yeah.
And then when it comes to money, people were just willing to fall out instantly, weren't they? Rather than work with us and hear our side of the story, because they're so used to being dealt a bad hand that they were just assuming that we was going to do the same thing.
And when you do have these conversations with these ones, like that is what they're saying as well. Like, oh
Yeah,
I have this week in, week out.
yeah.
Like, but oftentimes they don't have the conversations like with these ones. So that's sort of the first step, I suppose.
So you saying that you, with this podcast, are trying to change construction completely?
Or that's bold. Maybe not completely. One step at a time.
But again, if you just like,
one pod at a time.
Yeah, just one pod at a time. Yeah, I like that. I think that's all we can do in it. Just try and make it a bit better. Just try and make our little bit better.
Yeah. But we're going to be touching on sort of different parts of construction, like as we go through. We've already like alluded to sort of money and chasing money and things like that. I mean, we could talk about that probably on every episode.
And I reckon that is not just a construction thing.
No,
I think that's industry wide.
Yeah,
not just industry wide. I think that's
just
that is across the board.
Yeah, unless you're making something and you're charging for it up front. But even then, you probably got
you've still
material
got supply chain and all that. Yeah.
We're going to touch on that. Various elements. Obviously, we're mostly involved in scaffolding and groundworks, so we'll have episodes dedicated to that, won't we? And just the weird and wonderful people that you've met over the last 25 years or whatever it is.
Hang on, I'm not that old.
You started young.
I did start young, actually. So, I mean, going back to me, your original question, and this is the problem. You said what you done.
Yeah. Well, I got you back in the end.
I left school at 15. Yeah, you did. Right, tedious link. That was tedious. I left school at 15. I was young, so I was born in July. So I was always a younger part of the year. Hated school. Absolutely hated it. Just loads of, believe it or not, really shy. I was bullied a lot. Come out myself. That's an episode for later on. I come out like within myself, but I got helped along the way by like a big brother scheme. And the day after I left school, I went straight to work. I've not started working since. Straight to work on a building site. I worked for a small construction firm in Essex. Nice firm, worked my way up. Within a couple of years, I was running jobs because I could just see that you could do things better instantly. But then it's really hard to then carry on. I think when you're young and you come in with all the young, fresh ideas, it's great, but it's hard to get the older generation to buy into your ideas of people that are just stuck in their way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was always quite good younger. I've actually found that harder the older I get. And I've got this thing, what's my saying? All the good people have...
there's no professional.
Yeah. What's my saying? It's such a good saying. I really remember it.
There's no professionals anymore, and all the good people have retired.
There's no professionals anymore, and all the good people have retired. Now, I believe that to a point. And that's, again, why we'll have these conversations, and we try and inspire. And we try to get different guests on, and we talk about different elements of work, and there's people that that I can think of that will be guests or have been guests and are going to say to us they've dabbled in construction, because it's always been a thing of like, get into construction, get into scaffolding if you're naughty. But it shouldn't be that. It should be a proper career. And it is a proper career for many people. And I just want people to love it, but I want them to love it and then their bodies not to ache so much, and the mental health not to suffer, because the problem is also, like we get good weather in the summer, so everyone's working 7 days a week, then it's so, come the winter, you get so many rainy days, you're rained off. Majority of the industry is self-employed. Everyone struggles with their own finances. I don't care whether you're earning £300 a day, £700 a day, 70 quid a day. No one can balance that out over the year.
Yeah.
So then the pressures of then everyone else, like the men, the guys that I champion, really, the guys that are actually doing it, becomes immense. Then I take that on personally, because I don't want them to suffer. And I think as like an industry, we're just rubbish at supporting that, just saying, oh yeah, it's raining, so you're just rained off as a bricklayer. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't have the fix, by the way.
No, and this was saying earlier, like we're not going to be able to fix everything in one hit, but just there's elements that, to be honest, if we shine a light on them, you might get the big tier ones and that have got various programs in place, but they've not got the guys on the ground doing the work. Maybe, in fairness to them, aren't even aware of some of the pressures and stuff that get put on them on an individual level. So even if it shines a bit of a light on that as part of it as well, that's got to be a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think some of these big guys, I think they make all the right noises, but they don't necessarily follow it through.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So they say, "Oh yeah, we're doing something on our site, on our big civil engineering site," and they'll include all the people in suits. But probably the people that suffer are the people like in the boiler suits and that are out in the trenches, and then they sort of never get invited because they're just part of the supply chain. Yeah, and they just go, "Oh, we'll do it higher level than that."
Yeah, you do see that for sure.
But this is where like I thought that we could touch people's lives and make a difference by rolling this out, by building a giant hard hat on the trailer. Then we tow it round, and that's the studio.
Yeah.
Why are you just nodding at me like that, Kurt? We're gonna. This.
No, I know it's happening.
We're gonna do this.
We've built a giant coffee cup before, haven't we?
Yeah, we're gonna do this.
We'll go into that at some point.
So then we tow that out. We take that to site, and then our guests become then not just people that we know, but it becomes the voices that are unheard, and then we can just have these conversations, have a chat, see how people's days are going. And that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And obviously to do that, it's going to need people to listen. It's going to need people to enjoy, to like and subscribe and all that jazz. No, to actually
that's the wrong sort of media, isn't it? Like and subscribe.
Well, you still subscribe to podcasts, don't you?
Just leave reviews on Spotify.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But ultimately just listen, and
which I now do. Now you got me into podcasts. Well, I now review people's podcasts, but I've gone from like not being into podcasts to now going like the hardcore. Like them,
you send me like 4 hour long
them 4 hour marathons. I'm not sure whether do they still constitute as podcasts.
I don't know. I don't know. I have to listen to them in like double speed or 1.5 speed.
Yeah, I tried that when you said it to me. It doesn't have the same. It's too much.
It's a bit chipmunk, isn't it? But
yeah, and I don't know how you take the information in.
Oh, you won't get all of it.
yeah. So what do you want out of this, Kurt?
Do you know what? I would like people to listen for a start. I think that would be great. But no,
you sound desperate now because you said that in the last 3 minutes. You've said that a couple of times.
Well, all right. We'll get one of those edited out. No, genuinely, I think it is a mad world, especially not being immersed in construction for all this time. It has to affect people, like some of the battles and stuff, more than anyone ever lets on. And I think some of the stuff's funny, some of the stuff is just mad, some of the stuff is hard, some of it's good. Like, and there's such a scope and spectrum of construction as a whole. I just think it'd be mad not to bring some of the stories that we face each week to people.
Yeah, true. I mean, I am still looking for that film crew to follow me around, don't I? If anyone's interested.
Yeah. we'll give you an address to send any references to or any inquiries about that film.
Well, I did task Georgia in the office about it, didn't I? So just reach out to Georgia, just because I said to her, just find me a film crew that wants to follow me around.
So she's bought a camcorder. You don't even need that these days, do you?
No, you don't.
That shows how old you are.
But I do think that's sort of the positive. When you're doing stuff like this, positive stuff ends up coming to you. As soon as we do like LinkedIn posts and things like that, more stuff happens.
Yeah.
Now it's still a bit frowned upon just to say what you want on LinkedIn. Like, and I don't say anything like completely controversial.
No.
But there was something I liked at the weekend where someone was standing up to.
I saw that.
Yeah,
actually, I was going to speak to you about that today.
That's
because it's along the similar lines of something we'd like to do.
Yeah, and I thought, I was like, whoa, you beat into it. But that sort of thing is like, just stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
And then if that helps then someone else out, that's kind of all the media, isn't it? That you need.
Yeah. But ultimately, this is a positive thing.
Exactly.
Even when we're talking about difficult things, it's a positive platform that we want everyone to get involved in. Thanks for listening.
All right, that was the most random one.
Well, it will be, won't it? It's an intro.
Is it an intro?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Another one? That was it. Shut up! Because I have to do my hands.
Yeah, that's what when I'm talking.
Yeah.
I talk with my hands. Yeah,
But I'm being ridiculous. I got Curtis like my dad standing behind the door. Like,
that was it. Yeah.
okay.
That was good.
So that's it.
I don't
Yeah. All right.
think
Okay.
we need-